What should your heart rate be after having COVID? Hi, my name's Nathan from the COVID Recovery Initiative, and often people find that they have a change in what their usual resting heart rate is, but also what it's doing on exertion, even simple things like standing. So today I'm going to go through what generally a resting heart rate should be, what changes we should expect, but also if it's a bit more than what we expect, what that may be, why it happens, and what we can also do as well. So resting heart rates in a healthy population are actually quite variable. So I've seen data about the Tour de France riders. So these are the most fittest people in the world, and they vary in their resting heart rates from I think around 28 to 65. Now, if you're thinking about that, there's such a huge variation for people that are freakily fit. They're at the highest point of their profession. And so if we reflect on day to day with people's resting heart rates, then we're going to expect to see a bit of a range anyway. So we generally say between 60 and 80 is a normal, healthy one, but I find my pulse is around 50. I know others that are around 80, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean too much. There's just variation from person to person. Now, after COVID, and people that are generally struggling with fatigue and post-viral conditions, we often find that people have a higher heart rate. So I would say to people, anything between 60 and 80, very normal, even if it's come up a little bit from people previously, or from where it was previously. But we often see people with resting heart rates even between 80 and 100, and we don't really blink too much of an eye. Now, if you are concerned and it's a lot more than usual and you're getting symptoms from that, then please consult your doctors and get it checked out. But for the most part, if they come back and saying, well, that's just where it is at the moment, then that's okay. Now, we would expect your heart rate to be a bit higher because your body is under more stress. Now, you're also a little bit deconditioned because of the inactivity that you've had from the COVID infection and also from the symptoms afterwards. Now, with this stress on the body, there are more demands in the body, and so to regulate its blood pressure, and it's also a little bit slower as well. Now, slower not in the sense of dumb, but it's just all the resources are so spent elsewhere that when we have these changes or we need to regulate our blood pressure, it's just a little bit overreactive or overprotective. So this leads to probably the second part, is that we might see some pretty decent spikes in heart rate. Now, any changes in position, such as maybe 10 to 20 beats, really is pretty normal and nothing to be too concerned about. But if we find that it's jumping, more than 30 beats up, well, this is probably the body being a bit overprotective and reactive in getting your blood pressure or managing it. Now, we might think that this is a bad thing, but we do need to get checked out, and often this can be related around orthostatic intolerance or conditions named POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which means fast heart rate and standing. Now, the body's doing this, as I said, in a positive way so that we actually don't faint. Because if the motor doesn't go faster, because maybe the body's not responding in other ways, then it's something that we may faint, we might have those other symptoms. Now, it's not ideal, but that's how the body's reacting, and we need to go a little bit deeper as to understand that, but we're discussing that in other videos. So if you're not sure of your heart rate and where it's getting to, or maybe it's going up by more than 30 beats on standing, then it's definitely worthwhile having a chat to your doctor. But around this, if it is going up a bit, you feel it in your chest and you've had it checked out, you may have had an echocardiogram, an ECG, or spoken with your doctor and they've said, no, this is par for the course, then we need to really focus on getting control of your day. Now, we talk about pacing and balancing your days. Exercise that doesn't make you feel worse, and that's super important, the last. Understanding your triggers and setbacks. Understanding your sleep, why it's unrefreshing, what we need to do from here. Managing stress and anxiety, not because it causes this, but because this is stressful. But basically get an understanding of this so you can actually get a good pattern in your days and a sustainable and proactive routine that's going to help you take control of your health. Because we often hear people feel a bit out of control, and that's scary. So if you're unsure regarding your heart rates, reach out, talk to us. But more information is at the covidrecoveryinitiative.com. But if you found this helpful, if you know someone else that would benefit from this, then please share it with them, because we want to make sure that everyone's getting the appropriate care and understanding so that they can get back into life. So thank you, and maybe speak to you soon.